It is a cold weather oil, walnut oil, and olive oil is a warm weather oil. And then there's fish oil, which is really cold because deep sea fish swim in cold, cold water. So the omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids are important for everybody. Everybody needs all of them. Some people need more of one than another. It's very hard to determine what you need more of. So I say CYA, cover your tush, and eat something like Arrowhead Mills has a great one. It's called Omega, it's Essential Balance Oil. It has all the omega-3, 6, and 9s in it. It's just a great oil. I love it. Or if you can't do that, grab safflower, grab walnut, and grab maybe pumpkin seed oil. Mix them together, and then rotate to 3 other oils after you finish off those 3. So.
One thing that we were talking about at one time, I don't know if it were here or in your practice or just where I picked it up, but I'd just like to clarify. Many people will come in, and especially in my practice, and they'll ask questions such as, you know, Kurt, I'm under a lot of stress. Am I creating a problem with my adrenals? And a lot of times with people under extreme stress, I do see adrenal exacerbation. Is that factual, or is that just...
Oh, sure.
Oh, it is, okay.
The adrenal glands are what we call the stress glands. And the adrenal glands, it's important to know when you have a lot of stress in your life, and most of us do. Life is no longer simple. We don't go home at 5 o'clock and turn on Leave It to Beaver anymore. You know,
it doesn't come on?
No, he's been off the air for a while. And sit down and have a nice quiet meal that mom's prepared all day in the house. You know, it just doesn't happen. We all have, you know, double lives that we lead. So there's really very little time to relax. So the stress factor in America is so high for everyone. And it's really important to do, you know, a well-balanced diet. Let's just say that. It's like such a flipped term. But beyond a well-balanced diet, if you don't do anything else, it's really important to do your good oils. And you need to eat those raw. You should not heat these oils.
Ah, okay.
That's important to know. But the adrenal glands, if in fact you're just doing oil, that may not be all that you need. You have to do minerals as well. Remember, the adrenals make something called mineral corticoids. Those are corticoid steroids made from minerals, and they all work together. So most people are very mineral deficient. You know why? Because they're eating or drinking chemicals like coffee, which flushes like a vacuum all of your minerals out of your body. It takes manganese and magnesium and selenium and chromium and just flushes it right out of the system. So even if the minerals are there, they're like, hold on, you know, here comes the coffee. There they go. So then you're without the minerals, and what are the adrenals supposed to do? Now, how do you supplement for minerals? You know, it's important to know what minerals you need. Not everyone needs calcium. A lot of people are taking calcium in really high doses. It blocks other minerals from working.
Oh, I see.
So it's important to do, you know, like a hair tissue test, find out what minerals you need, and at least eat lots of rooty vegetables and things that grow on the ground that are preferably organic, that haven't had all the minerals raped and pillaged out of them with pesticides, insecticides, and sprays. I mean, organic is becoming increasingly important for people, even though it's unaffordable. It's very expensive. But, you know, the pesticide count in our fruits and our vegetables is astronomically high in America. It's very high.
Yes, yes.
It's very concerning.
I remember you doing a show about that, and it's just
scary.
appalling.
The
It's
statistics
scary.
are scary.
It's scary. It really is.
So we need our good essential oils. Eating cold water fish is a very good idea. You know, that's excellent. Cold water fish are the fish that go deepest into the ocean.
Okay.
Because they swim deeper, they have a higher percentage of good fat on their body, and that good fat provides you with that good fat when you eat it as well. Those essential omega, you know, 6 fatty acids are very healthy.
Okay.
So you need to do good oils on a daily basis. How much should you do? Well, I do about 2 tablespoons of good oil every single day, and I'm not fat.
I see. It wouldn't help to just swim with the fish in the cold water. You'd
have to eat them while you're swimming.
You'd have to eat them while you swim. That's very good. You always have a good comeback.
So that you need your oils. You need to do, you know, more cold water fish. Legumes are great. They have trace amounts of those good oils in them. A little bit of those essential fatty acids, not high doses. Soybean is, of course, the highest, and that would be excellent. So doing hummus dips and things like that would be excellent. And I love avocado. I eat avocado probably twice a week. I serve that to myself. And of course, you need to do your minerals or mineral supplementation. So the B vitamins are also real important for the stressed out adrenals. But a lot of people, Kurt, that you see probably have what we call a bit of a leaky gut. So they can't digest vitamins and minerals really well, especially vitamins. They can hurt their stomach. If that's the case, then they need to like start eating more live foods that will, you know, kind of re-implant good enzymes in the gut so they can break things like supplements down.
I see, I see. Thyroid, parathyroid, you mentioned.
Okay.
Different functions?
Well, they do have different functions, but they're triggered by the adrenal glands. So you really need to make sure that the adrenals are working well, or the parathyroid and the thyroid gland will be second seed. In other words, you know, I saw a man today in my practice, and he came in, and he's a very stressful job. He's, you know, a police sergeant or chief of police or something, and not in Chicago, but in one of the suburbs. And you know, his thyroid was like one of the lowest I've ever seen, and his parathyroid was like. And he wonders, he's sick all the time, and he tends to, you know, he tends to get constant ear and eye infections and things like that. And that will happen when you have a lowered thyroid and parathyroid function. You will see that you're always catching things. It's like, darn it, you know, I'm eating pretty good. Why am I always getting sick? So you look at a blood test and you see what those values reflect, and if in fact you have lowered parathyroid and thyroid, you know that A, you need essential fatty acids, B, you need minerals, and C, you need your B vitamins. You need to balance your diet.
I see. And
take those supplements if in fact they work for you. So, I mean, also if you see lowered parathyroid on your blood test, say the range is like 0.70 to 4.2, and you're, you know, right around 1.
Okay.
You're on the low end of the range, then you'll know for sure that there's probably calcium, too much calcium in the system.
Oh, really?
Calcium tends to deposit in the parathyroid.
Okay.
So interesting. And I'm seeing more and more people with really, really low parathyroid activity.
Which would be what? Parathyroid activity would be?
The fatigue.
Okay.
You know, you denote that by a blood test, but they come in generally feeling very tired, and they get sick a lot. And that's what presents.
Okay.
So if you see lowered parathyroid and lowered thyroid, you always see lowered adrenal, because the adrenals trigger those two glands to be activated.
Got it.
So if you see high calcium, you have to drive that down. And just a note for our viewing audience, if there's high calcium, and I've been seeing so much of this, I'm like, where on earth are all these people getting all this calcium? Because many people do not supplement with calcium. So I've been looking at labels. And I have not looked at a table salt label in a long time, and they now put dicalcium phosphate in table salt. And now I've been looking at all kinds of packages. There's tricalcium phosphate, dicalcium phosphate, and almost everything as a stabilizer and preservative. So we're being inundated in calcium, and the body's just holding on to it.
I see.
Not good. So look at your labels.
I see. Incredible.
So much work being healthy, isn't it, sometimes?
My goodness. Well, let's change to another area and ask a little bit about the pancreas. Pancreas
is really important, Kurt.
Okay.
He's this like little fish-shaped gland underneath the tummy here, and
deep sea or just no? Okay.
No, he's like midsection.
Midsection. Okay.
And the pancreas is really important because the pancreas regulates insulin, and most people refer to insulin as the one hormone that will keep you from either having diabetes or will help you to obtain diabetes. If you regulate insulin efficiently, then you will find that A, you're lean, B, you have lots of energy, and C, you don't fall asleep after lunch every day. You know, a lot of people who have insulin surges become shaky, or if their insulin drops, same thing. In the world of nutrition, what we look for is homeostasis. We want everything to be right here in the mid-range, not too high, not too low. Because if you present symptomatically with a high level of insulin or a low level, you can have exactly the same reaction, meaning that you will shake and you will quake and you will get nauseous. Some people get headaches. So you have to literally sometimes eat 5 meals a day and make sure you get those good oils in there, and do protein at 3 or 4 of your meals. A little bit of protein, 2 or 3 ounces every day to regulate insulin.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much.
And you'll get lean. Really
and you'll
lean.
get lean, okay. Pituitary and hypothalamus.
The pituitary and hypothalamus, again, are triggered by the adrenals. They need essential oils, lots of good oils, and plenty of fluid. And a lot of women who are lactating, who dry up, tend to be really low on fluid, period, or they have too much stress. And if they go back to work too early and they find that their milk dries up, it's generally because the adrenals are really taxed. So we come back to, like, support the adrenals, you support the entire endocrine system.
I see. We have kidneys, and I have a question on ovary and testes.
Okay.
Now, you touched a little bit on kidneys. Can you go to ovary and testes?
Okay.
I know I'm going to get questions about that.
Sure. Ovary and testes, same thing. They need their essential oils, okay, for those follicles to develop. You see a lot of people with heavy metal body burdens. when they don't have well-functioning testes and ovaries, so you have to make sure that the metals are not in the system because those soft glandulars are where metals tend to deposit.
Oh, I see.
So you need to get those out. I tell people, you know what, the way you want to look at this is balance your diet and take out antagonists. If you drink 5 cups of coffee a day, please don't. Drink 1. Cut it down to 1 and make sure you never take in that chemical-laden drink on an empty stomach. Always put food in the stomach first to kind of buffer your insulin, because if you drink coffee on an empty stomach, you're shooting lots of insulin into the system. It's like opening a floodgate.
That is a phenomenal statement.
It is.
When you know that when you're headed out to work in the morning, you see many people lined up at many local coffee places with the first thing in their hand is a coffee cup.
Well, it is a drug. Caffeine is a drug. It is now listed in the DRGs. So it is a drug, and you know what? It does what it does. It stimulates adrenal activity. It kicks out epinephrine and adrenaline. It gets you wound up a little bit. It makes you hyper. Put some sugar in there, and everybody's like, okay, gotta go. Well, pretty soon, if you've eaten nothing else, you know, it'll make you feel good for an hour or so. Your insulin will drop dramatically. And when that happens, when that blood sugar deregulates and insulin crashes, so does every other gland in the endocrine system. They're all like, oh no, what are we going to do? And the adrenals will crash as well, and you become very fatigued. You need that second cup of coffee to get you cranked again. But what you're doing is you're taking yourself on a hormonal highway ride. You're up the mountain, down the down the highway,
Yes.
up the mountain, down the highway. It's like all day long you're riding a roller coaster. It's exhausting. It'll make you sick. It'll wear your endocrine system out.
What do you want us to do?
So, well, I suggest people start eating at least 3 meals a day if they eat 1 or 2.
Okay.
If you eat 3 a day, go up to 4 or 5. You know, just small meals, just segment things out. And make sure that you supplement where needed. I mean, minerals are very important. B vitamins are very important. And start getting some good oils in your diet. And don't forget water.
Oh, never
You
forget
have to
water.
have water.
Either we're running out of time or our camera person is having an adrenal problem. You know, with that shakiness you were talking about.
Right.
This is so interesting. I always hate that we have to end because you always come with so much knowledge, and
Thanks, Kurt.
you take the time to make it understandable to all of us, and we certainly
Good.
appreciate it when you come over.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well,
Thanks
good.
for having me.
Yeah, but it always boils down to a good diet.
Food can be therapeutic. You can heal yourself with foods. It's so simple, it's stupid. And you know, I just wish to share with our viewing audience, you know, if they have questions or concerns, they can certainly, you know, give us a call. And we'd like to know if they'd like to know more about specific subjects as well. So please feel free to write in or call in and let us know what your interests are, because we care whether or not you're healthy.
And you certainly demonstrated that. Deborah, again, thank you so very, very much for
You're welcome.
coming on the show and telling us everything and in detail and in bite-sized pieces that even I can understand. Well,
You're
you got
welcome.
another show. That's a wrap for this time, and I certainly appreciate you tuning in. And do take Deborah up on her offer to call and find out more. I'm Kurt Hill, your host, and see you again. Thank you very much.
Cool.